Hello, today I want to tell you a story, a quite remarkable story I feel, about this drone. This is my Mavic Air 2, which I've had for about 3 years, and I've had some really remarkable successes with it. I'm really pleased with the drone. I'm really pleased with the footage that we get from the drone. In fact, I'll stick some footage in now to let you see just how successful I think it's been. So hopefully you agree that that's quite spectacular stuff, and stuff that I'm really pleased with. But this drone has got a story to tell, and in order to tell that story we have to relocate to the Gela Bridge in the Angus Glens in Scotland. So we've come here to the Angus Glens, and this is Glen Clova in Scotland, and it was here back in March of this year, that's 2023. I was flying the drone trying to capture the last of the winter, the first of the spring. It was a nice day, a nice bright day, it wasn't windy. It was a threat of rain on the horizon, but nothing too dramatic. And I was trying to capture the area and this bridge behind me. Now that is the Gela Bridge, and I was trying to fly the drone below the Gela Bridge, and for some reason it went out of control and I crashed into the concrete parapet you can see at the side there, and the drone dropped like a stone into the water. The river was quite high. I didn't think I would get it back. I did make a bit of an effort, but the water was too high, the water was too deep. I didn't want to risk it, and I thought the drone had probably been washed away down the river anyway, so had to abandon it. A very expensive and mistake, if it was a mistake, but I thought the drone was lost, and I was quite disappointed, but well, the story continues. So after the drone crashed, I came over here, ran across the road, down the banking to here, and it was just to the left hand side of this parapet of the bridge here where the drone had landed, right in the middle of it. It couldn't be further away, couldn't be harder to get to. The water was quite deep, the water was flowing quite fast, and I didn't want to risk going into the river to try and retrieve the drone. I thought it was probably destroyed anyway, and I just had to come away. and leave it. Quite sad, quite disappointed that my wee drone was lost and destroyed. So I left here and went home quite dejected. However, the weather after March into the early part of June for this part of the country was amazing. It was warm, there was very little rain, which allowed the water in the river here to drop considerably. So back in mid-June now, so the drone landed in the water in March, we now came back in here in mid-June, and I was able to paddle along the side of the parapet here, just here, and lo and behold, there was the drone. Just where it had fallen, hadn't moved, and all that time the water hadn't moved it at all. It just obviously hit the side of the bridge and crashed into the water. I hadn't moved. So I was able to retrieve it and I took it home. So after I returned home, I thought, what am I going to do with this drone? I've got it back, which is good, but it's probably destroyed. It'll never work again. It felt very heavy. It felt like it was full of sand and silt and whatever. So I thought, well, I can rinse it out in the shower. And the logic being that if it's been submerged in water for such a long period of time, rinsing it out in the shower won't do any more harm. So that's what I did. I rinsed it in the shower for about 15-20 minutes, and a lot of dirt and bits of grit and sand were washed out of the drone, and I then dried it all off, put it in the box of rice. Yes, that old favourite, the box of rice, plastic tub with it, sealed with a lid, filled with rice, and put it in a cupboard and left it for, well, since from June until now. We're now in November. I left it there to thoroughly dry out to see what it would do. Would this drone ever fly again? Remarkably, the SIM card, I took the SIM card out, and the SIM card, once I dried it thoroughly, put the SIM card in the laptop, and all the footage from that day's filming was perfect, absolutely perfect. And I'll stick some of that footage in now. It's quite remarkable, the fact that that SIM card has been submerged in water for such a long time, and it replayed the footage absolutely perfectly. There's not a mark on it at all. It's absolutely in phenomenal condition. So the next problem was, would the drone fly? So I got the drone out of the plastic box, cleaned all the ice off it, and continued to clean as much. There was still a lot of dry sand and grit and silt in it, so I continued to clean that off with a soft brush, as you'll see now. So after being in rice for a number of months, and after being rinsed out in the shower for 40 minutes after having been in the river for a number of months, there still feels like there's a lot of grit. All these legs feel a bit gritty. These all feel a bit gritty. So I'm just going to work away and see what I can do, see if there's any more grit and dirt and debris I can get out of this. I'm just going to use a soft brush and just work away and see what I can do. Well, that's quite remarkable. Even after all that time washing and trying to get as much dirt and debris out of this drone as it could, hopefully you can still see there's still a fair bit that's come out. It's dried up now, I can't get any more out. So the next stage is to see if it will switch on. So after spending some time cleaning the drone, drying the drone out, I've come here to a local park. There's plenty of space here should things go wrong. I'm going to give it a go to see what happens. I'm going to first of all put a battery in it to see if it'll actually power up, and then I'll see if I'll link it to the controller, and then see if it'll actually take to the sky. Let's see what happens. Well, hopefully that shows up that the battery is a different colour. The drone is in quite a state, but let's see what happens when we try to power it up. Wow, that's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Let's see if we'll take to the sky. So I don't know if you could see that, but the controller has paired with the drone. I'm getting a message saying I've got a downward vision sensor error, and it appears the gimbal on the drone isn't working. It's detected the SD card. So let's see what happens when we try and get it to go in the sky. Wow. Let's try something else. Well, there you have it. That's quite unbelievable. After losing the drone in the river for 89 days, way back in March this year, after leaving it in a plastic container full of rice for several months, after spending a bit of time cleaning it out and cleaning it up, it flies again. The footage is unusable, okay, fair enough. There's a problem with the sensor, but for a machine that's packed full of electronic wizardry that's not meant to be immersed in water. I think that is a remarkable story, and I hope you do too. Thanks.